60-second delay.
Are you going live? Okay.
Recording in progress.
Okay, welcome back to the Don Gringo Show, Opinion Opportunity. We finally got David back after all this time, and there's a lot to go on. So, David, for people who don't know you, tell them who you are, because I've had you here before.
I'm just a guy that discovered that the earth is flat and decided to drop everything to spread the word so people know who they are, where they are, and what the heck is going on, or at least try to figure it out.
Yeah, but you do more than that, though. You're big into the education part, right? I mean, you actually have an app and whatnot, right?
Yeah, I have an app. It's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and it is meant to help people get by the censorship and really learn what flat Earth is.
Okay, so I recently reached out to you because me and you have had a discussion on flat Earth, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with these shuttle flights. Are they real?
What shuttle? With Captain Kirk?
Captain Kirk's going up. We had Bezos go up, right? The guy from Virgin Atlantic. Come on, David. What we got going on here? Because,
Did you watch it?
I kind of watched it. I mean, they didn't really go too far up. I mean, literally, they were still, in my opinion, still in the blue, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's complete and total nonsense. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When you go to a bike race or to a marathon or a boat race or car race or a stunt pilot, a guy like Evel Knievel jumping over a canyon, what do they always have there?
Safety net.
Ambulances. Ambulances. There's always an ambulance. At the end of the marathon, there's ambulances. They're lined up, right? Always ambulances. This thing comes out of the sky like the old Apollo capsule. 3 big parachutes, right? Edit. They're never showing you one thing. They're showing this angle, that angle. And just before it lands, you notice there's only 2 parachutes. Continuity error. Then it slams into the ground, into the desert. I mean, bam, big dust cloud goes up. First thing is an ambulance should be there. But no, just reporters, and they all come out, ho, ho, ho. They can't even get a real picture of William Shatner because it's the same suit. Why did they put his head on here? We have the actual picture that this came from. This is the picture that they released. And you make an excuse. You go, well, it doesn't matter. They just wanted him to look good. He's a little overweight. You can be a NASA apologist or a SpaceX apologist or whatever, all you want. But then if you go look at Bezos, for example, his flight, him and what's his name? Jeff Bezos went up on Virgin Atlantic.
The guy from Virgin Atlantic went up.
Yeah. So again, if you watch those, so first let's look at this is the Virgin Atlantic one, and they always have a girl with the long hair flipping around. This is my buddy that made the video. He's just flipping himself through there, basically showing that this is just a zero-G plane. A zero-G plane, is the plane that does the parabolic arc. They said he was up there for 4.5 minutes of weightlessness, but they can only show us 4 or 5 seconds at a time. Edit. Every time you watch NASA rockets, whatever, edit. You watch any launch of a SpaceX, whatever, within the first 10 seconds, there's a half a dozen cuts. Okay, why can't they show us one thing? So this is a zero-G plane. You can get like 25 to 45 seconds of weightlessness. These people are on a plane, and that's all that's going on in this case. They don't always use the same thing. Like this is zero-G footage. And Richard Branson looks like he's about to puke because it is a little crazy. He's like holding on, and they always have a girl flipping around. Always, they love their long hair. So that's one thing. The other one is Bezos. You ever see his rocket?
Yep. Just want to say that Deliberate Creations over here saying shuttle launches are all bogus. Listen up here. So he's believing you, Dave.
100%. But when they show Jeff Bezos's penis-shaped rocket, they always have this weird wiggle to the camera. I mean, they are mocking us, right? You can't help but laugh at this because this is what they're doing, right? So no one's going into space. No one's going up on any rockets, anything. This guy, this is CGI, whatever it is. You know, maybe they launch a balloon rocket up for a little bit. Then they show you a cartoon. Then they have a thing come down. There's no one on it. And then they cut, and then they have their pre-recorded, landing. And it's just all nonsense. There's no real reporters there. It's complete and total nonsense. So let's just look at a recent SpaceX launch. This is they're testing the rocket that's going to go to Mars, right? This rocket is going to go to Mars. Now, by the end of this video, you'll have two choices. One, to be a NASA apologist and believe this nonsense. Look at this. Edit, cut. So we have a ground view moving very slow, and then we have a space rocket view. It's a ground view. Look how slow it's moving, right? What is this? Is this really going up? And now look at the angle. We're not very high. Oh, now look how high we are. Look, we're not very high. And where's the thrust? Look at the smoke coming out of there. Does that look like thrust lifting 1 million pounds or more? This thing is now free falling. It's over 40,000 pounds of steel free falling out of the sky. Look at the smoke. Does that look like it's free falling? Look at that smoke.
Yeah, it's on an angle.
Now how high it is. Look how high it is. This is unedited. This is what they showed us, right? So now watch this thing. This is free falling. This looks like a horrible old cartoon. Now look how high it is. Now look at it. We're low because we have an angle. Now watch. Now it's going to go on. The camera's going to go right underneath it. So you got 3 engines lit up. Edit. Now watch. 2 of the engines are going to go out. And this little flame, right? This thing's barely moving. Look at the smoke. It's like on fire. This is just a firework. Now watch. CGI smoke. What is that? They're really that dusty? And then it lands upright. Okay? You have 2 choices. One, just realize that you're gullible and that, if you think this is real, I can't help you. And then the second one is they're faking rocket launches and everything goes off the table.
So this is obviously the last time. This is just, media selling a story, but obviously the media would have to be in on it. I mean, obviously.
Well, the media is not in on it. This is all filmed by SpaceX. This is what I call the Tupac rocket. And you see smoke trails, and sometimes you don't see smoke trails. Well, no smoke trail means it's not real. Okay? This is a hologram. Now, we were looking at pictures on NASA's lawn from a NASA launch, and we were like, what are those spotlights? These big spotlight boxes. And we zoomed in, and we got a name, a serial number, and we looked it up online. Holographic projection company. What is a holographic projection company doing on NASA's lawn? And look what happened during the flight.
Wow. I didn't notice that.
They're faking space. Yeah, they're faking space.
That's like I said before, I mean, it's just a hell of a story for the longest time to be selling to the people. And it's not just the people of the United States. It's like worldwide. Like, that's a hell of a conspiracy.
Well, it's not just that. All of the space agencies, they're all run by NASA. It's all one. The division is just nonsensical.
So you think Russia adheres to NASA? You think China's adhering to NASA?
So all of some of them aren't actually adhering to NASA, because if you look at the crap that they put out, it's like NASA, like, how did they ever let them get away with this? For example, China just landed a rover on Mars earlier this year. This is the only proof that we have that they landed a rover on Mars. Look at that shadow. Okay? But they're going to clap. Yes, they're clapping. It's got to be real. Okay? That's the only proof that we landed on Mars. That China landed on Mars. This is the only proof that we landed a rocket on Mars. I think it was last year, less than a year ago. This is what they showed us. Okay?
Musings over here saying it's a worldwide plan to hide God.
Yes, 100%
read Romans
correct.
1:18-23.
100% correct. So look at this cartoon. This is the cartoon. This is what they're showing us. This is what the people in the control room that they keep cutting back to are seeing. Now, they tell us that the atmosphere on Mars is like 1% of what we have on Earth. So if you've ever watched any high, super high, skydiving, like the Red Bull jump, parachute wouldn't open until he got down to like 50,000 feet, right? At 100,000 feet, the atmosphere is not thick enough. It's still a lot thicker than 1% Mars. So this parachute supposedly opened and stopped this thing from crashing into Mars when there's only 1% atmosphere. On top of that, they brought a drone up there to fly, right?
Yep.
You heard about the drone flying on Mars? How does a drone fly in 1% atmosphere when we can't fly our best helicopters up to the top of Everest, where the atmosphere is way thicker?
I gotta say, Dave, every time we have a conversation, you make hell of a points like that Everest thing. I mean, you make a hell of a point.
Let me make another point. You ever try to operate a drone or a camera or anything mechanical, battery operated in the winter, in the super cold, when it's like freezing outside?
Mm-hmm.
What happens? The batteries die. The whole thing, the thing freezes. So on Mars, the temperature goes from -20 to -120. From sunrise, it's like -20. At high noon, it's -20. No, at sunrise, it's -120 Fahrenheit. Okay, you probably never even been in a -20 temperatures, but they got this drone that can fly and cameras that can shoot, and
It's a
all
$50
of the
million
stuff,
drone. That's all.
all of the stuff that operates in super cold temperatures. Sorry, Elon Musk. This is supposedly real. This was taken from an altitude lower than the International Fake Station. Okay? The International Fake Station doesn't even show you the whole globe because they say they're not high enough. But this was taken lower. Look at this. This is just done in a studio. And the Earth is morphing in size. There's so many things wrong with it. This is just a small clip, but people are like, oh, it's so cool. Elon Musk put his Tesla in space and it's on its way to Mars, right? How come the tires don't explode? How come there's not one logo on this thing? A little advertising, nothing.
Trying to save money. That's all.
Oh yeah. Where's the rear view mirror? They can't have the rear view mirror.
Hi, Amp.
So
you got a crowd coming in, I guess.
That's your crowd, not my crowd.
Hey, no, I reached out to the videos that we had done, and everyone who made comments, I made sure to tell them that you were going to be here live tonight. So if they
that's very nice.
Well, I mean, that's what we're doing. I mean, I told you that show was changing. We were going live. We're doing everything live. Even when I do record it and I put it back up, it's a recording of the live show. So I don't
Nice.
I don't do a lot of editing no more because I think it's better to have a real conversation between two people. And if we make a mistake, hey, we made a mistake and we got to own it, right?
Yeah.
So
this is, I believe, from the Japanese orbiter. They filmed the
Amp
moonrise.
Amp wants to know where that Tesla is now.
It's on somewhere between here and Mars, supposedly. It's ridiculous. There is a website where you can track it.
No.
Right? You can't see it. No, you can't see it in the sky, but the website will tell you where it is. Therefore, it's real.
You mean like Santa every Christmas?
Exactly like Santa. Exactly. Look at this moonrise, the Earthrise. This is supposedly the orbiter, Japanese orbiter, going around, and the Earth rose. I mean, this is complete and total nonsense. Here's one. This is a famous picture from the astronauts from the moon. Somehow saw the Earth there. The Earth shouldn't be there. We took it off their website, put it in Photoshop, cranked up the levels, and what happens? Lo and behold, a shitty cut and paste job from the 1960s.
So let me ask you a question. Obviously, aliens were a big conspiracy for the longest time, and now the government's kind of releasing, oh, that may be real. So do you think this will ever come out, or are you just going to be a conspiracy theorist in the government's eyes forever?
Oh, this is coming out. There's too many people waking up. There's so many people waking up. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. But the government's telling us they're releasing, FOIA requests or releasing stuff about aliens. No, this is a controlled release of nonsense. They want aliens mean outer space to people. Okay, they want you believing in outer space. think about this. I'm going to throw some numbers. You have to you actually use your mind. They didn't teach you this in school. They just taught you to memorize and regurgitate. Okay. So the closest star, do you know how far it is? The closest, not our sun, the closest star in the heliocentric model. The closest star is 4.5 light years away. How many miles is that? 25 trillion miles. Okay. That seem far?
Yeah, I wouldn't try to walk it.
All right. So if you could travel at a mile per second, that's pretty fast, right? Have you ever gone that fast in anything?
No.
We don't even have aircraft that can go that fast. That's our spy planes, right? So that's 3,600 miles a minute. If you traveled towards Alpha Centauri at a mile a second for 1 trillion seconds, 1 trillion seconds, 1 mile every second, okay? I mean, a mile a second. For 1 trillion seconds, you've gone 1 trillion miles, right?
Okay.
Right? Very easy. How long in time is 1 trillion seconds? And don't say 1 trillion seconds. How long in time is it in days? Want to take a guess?
I'm sure you know.
I do know, but do you want to take a guess? If you guess it within 5 days, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
I want to say it's probably about trillion seconds. I'm gonna probably say that's about 5 years.
Yeah, very close. 30. Wait, hold on. Just made me forget the number. It's 31,000 years.
31,000 years. Well,
yeah, you weren't that close.
Oh no,
31,000 years. So think about.
By the
this.
way, your Looney Tunes comments causing a little stir. I guess Looney Tunes also had the flat Earth theory, and there was someone saying Bugs Bunny proved the Earth was.
We'll talk about that in a second. Just follow me through. Follow me through on this. So if you're traveling a mile a second for 31,000 years, you're only 1/25th the way to the closest star, and the other ones are magnitudes farther away. So we're supposed to believe that there's a planet going around that star that somehow we can see with our naked ear at that 25 trillion miles away, which is just ridiculous, right? Because light spreads out and gets dimmer and dimmer. It doesn't stay bright and travel like a laser beam, okay? And there's planets, and then the aliens are coming through cosmic space and coming here to Earth. No, that's not what's happening at all. I believe, now this is speculation because we don't know. I believe there's more land beyond Antarctica. Here's our world. Our container for our world pond is Antarctica. Antarctica is not a ball at the bottom of a planet. It's the shoreline that surrounds our world. So what's out here? If we lived here in the middle.
So you really do believe there's land beyond that, huh?
Listen, no, I don't. I'm saying it's a possibility. Now, it's also a possibility that this is all there is. This is it. Here's the land. There's a dome over us, and we're all entrapped here in God's creation. Okay? That is a possibility. But also, there could be a possibility that there's more land back there. Now, there's some stories. They were talking about this in the 1800s, whether it's the book called The Iron Republic about people that left here in the 1600s, went out here and populated these worlds out here. And then in the late 1800s, 1901, a politician got a ship, was exploring Antarctica, made it through one of these cracks, and went out and then found this land. And there was people here that speak English. There was an advanced society.
I'll tell you what, that would be fucking interesting altogether, because we still haven't even figured out what we have on this side,
right,
like in the ocean.
So this is speculation. But I encourage people on YouTube, you can just search The Iron Republic by the Morgile channel. He read the whole book, or you can get the book if you like to read. But listen to it on a long drive, and it's fascinating. So, and here's the thing: whether it's true, I believe it rings true to me. But even if it's not true, they're talking about more land beyond on an extended plane, on a bigger world. If we live here in the inner space, and this extra territory, extra land, extra terra is the outer space. If you lived here, you could be considered an extraterrestrial from outer space.
You could.
Okay, you could.
Deliberate saying something about the space elevator. I've never heard of the space elevator.
So the space elevator is another nonsensical thing that they say, the Earth is spinning, so they're going to build an elevator that goes to space, and when it gets up high enough, the centrifugal force of the Earth spinning will hold it rigid, and then that way they can bring things up away from Earth before they launch them. Nonsense. All complete and total nonsense. It's, it sounds like they're trying to build the Tower of Babel, but that's not even happening. So what's beyond there? If you go to a biblical flat earther, they're going to be like, "Oh, there's nothing. God said He created the earth and the firmament, and that's it." Well, maybe there's other books of the Bible or something that say something else. I don't know.
Well, what about your partner? Matt believes in the firmament, right?
Matt does, and I don't actually. I got to talk to him about what he thinks. It's biblically based that there could be more land beyond Antarctica. This is our world. Maybe there's more land out there. Maybe it's the Lord of the Rings.
But if I remember last time, Dave, you said that there's no way to prove it because no government gives you the permit or the rights to actually go to Antarctica and test those theories, right?
So it's not that there's no way to prove it. They're not letting you, right? The Antarctic Treaty was put in place in 1959. It's the only treaty that's lasted forever. And you can't go there. You can't question it. You can't even question it until the year 2041. Antarctic Treaty, 1959.
But that's like saying they're going to release the, oh my God, the assassination of JFK paperwork. They're never going to release that. That's gonna be the same
in 2041, they're going to kick the can down the road another 60 years. That's if we don't discover it before them. Too many people know. So you have two choices. One, it's going to come out, or two, you got to get rid of those people.
So what would actually happen to someone if they actually tried to test that theory, go to Antarctica on their own? I mean, what would be the repercussions of something like that?
There's actually some guys that did it not too long ago, and I just watched a video the other day on it. Bunch of fishermen, bunch of rowdy guys. They just kept on going, and all of a sudden this huge destroyer shows up and is off their bow, and they're like, just keep going. And then they radio them. They contact them. They're like, you must leave this area immediately. You're in restricted waters. And they threatened to sink them. They sent a drone out following them, and they kicked them out. And then when they go back home, they get arrested by their own country. Okay?
For what?
For breaking the Antarctic Treaty. The Antarctic Treaty says nobody is allowed to travel beyond 60 degrees south. So this pink line is 60 degrees south. And you're not allowed to go out there. Now, there's 15 different companies that you can go on a 3-day vacation there for like $30,000, $50,000, whatever it is. They're all owned by the same company, but they're different companies, but they're owned by the same company, right? That's tricky. They take you here. They show you some penguins that probably aren't even indigenous to Antarctica because there's no life out there, in my opinion, or at least in this part. Who knows what's out here? And then they turn you around, they send you back. No one's ever crossed Antarctica. No one has ever circumnavigated the globe heading south. They've done it east and west, but not south.
So we were talking before, and you were saying that not only has no one ever crossed Antarctica, but no one's actually ever been to the North Pole, the top, or the center, as you would claim it to be.
You know what? I don't know if anyone's actually been there, but I remember seeing a National Geographic documentary in the classroom at school. Like, why are they showing us this? Where these guys went there with their sled dogs and they run out of food and they're freezing. And then they get there and it's dark and it's cold and there's nothing there. And basically that was just mind programming. So no kid ever said, I want to go to the North Pole. Basically it says, I don't want to go to the North Pole. Right. And they were able to film in these super cold temperatures. And all the guys that were doing it, they're losing their fingers, but the guys filming had no problem with their fingers. Okay. It was all just propaganda. So nobody would ever say, I want to go to the North Pole. It's just to scare you away, because I believe the answers are at the center or on the outside.
Using what link are you looking for? What link to what video? Just put it in the chat so me and Dave can continue to talk. And then when we get that answer, me or Dave will tell you if we can do it. So no one's really been to the center that we know of, per se, right? That we know of. So, and no one's been to the outside, and we've never been to the bottom.
Well, the deepest hole ever dug is, short of 8 miles, and that's and so nobody really knows. Nobody knows.
So all the textbooks are wrong because it's all assumption.
Um, so here's the thing: the way the textbooks work, the Rockefellers.
Musing's asking if you have a link to the Antarctic fisherman video.
It should be. You know what? I saw it on Facebook. In my app, it might be under Antarctica, but if it's not, it will be there soon. I don't have
so
the
download
link.
the app. The information should be in the description of the show, Musing.
Yeah. So yeah, and if it's not on the app now, I will get it there very soon.
I still have the app. I look at it once in a while. That's why I always try to keep in touch with you.
Have you updated it to see the new features on it?
No. I've been so busy, my friend. I just started getting back into podcasting after being away for so long. Between work, I was so my daytime job. I became an essential employee during the pandemic. So I've been slammed. And then of course, with the politics, I was like, I'm not going to voice my opinion right now because I have nothing good to say. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to take a small break because I'm just going to piss more people off and get more hate mail. So
nice.
We're back. And I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it live. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to do it live and create a nice show out of it.
Yeah. So
what was that? It says all legal flight and ballistic documents claim flat Earth.
Right. So NASA and there's all these declassified documents, and Air Force documents that say when they're doing all their modeling, they use it over a flat, non-rotating Earth. That's the quotation: flat, non-rotating Earth. And again, there's tons of videos on that showing those documents on my channel. It's my co-host Matt, and he's basically just showing it's going to go by quick, just flat. Where it says wherever it's highlighted, it says flat, non-rotating Earth. So these are public disclosed documents, and they never calculate a whirling, twirling, spinning, ridiculously fast, crazy Earth.
So
no sense.
How are you and the rest of the flat Earth community pushing back on all the nonsense? I mean, they are at a point, in my opinion, if you're right, they're at a point where they're pushing more nonsense than they've ever pushed before in a digital age, right? It's not like you and your flat Earth colleagues don't have cameras and access to stuff that could prove them wrong. So what's in your opinion, I know you don't know, but in your opinion, why would they go and do something so stupid like that to push this theory even further that we can go to space and we've been to the moon, we're going to Mars? I mean, it just seems like they're
why would they push that theory?
Lie.
Yeah, they're upholding the major lie because people wouldn't believe that we're spinning and whirling, twirling in outer space unless NASA was a key part of that. We had men walking on a ball in space that's falling around us, that's falling around the sun, flying through an infinite vacuum. They wouldn't lie. It's too big of a lie. But, in 1970 or whatever, 72, Nixon talked to the men on the moon with barely any delay, and we can't reach a friggin' balloon at 120,000 feet. When Felix Baumgarten did his jump, we lost communication with him at 127,000 feet.
Every time I talk to you, it's like my head just like kind of.
Well, it's because I'll tell you why your head's exploding, because
it's not so much as exploding. It's like I feel like a couple of things. I mean, obviously you don't want to grow up and say, "Hey, man, everything I learned is a lie." That's something you really hate.
That's the problem.
That's the problem, right? And
that's the problem.
But every time I talk to you, Dave, it's like I hit my head against something. And it's like, damn, why didn't I think of this? Damn, why am I not seeing this? It's like,
look at this lemon in space. It goes right through his hand. Is that a real lemon, or is that a manipulated CGI object? Not real. Okay, they're lying to you, and they're doing it right in front of your face. And I don't know if they do some of these things on purpose. Sometimes I think that they do. This is Chris Hatfield. These guys are in different rooms. It's all done with green screens. And this guy down here is holding the microphone, but he misplaces where Chris is, and he sticks it right into his neck. Look at the microphone. It's in his neck.
You know, I just feel like, I mean, is this a thing where the flat Earth community has not come together to create enough power and influence to really fight the lie? I mean, is this like, I mean, are these guys like too spread out, too thin to really put a movement together to really challenge these ideas?
So no, we're out there. They're it's the mainstream media. They don't listen. They won't listen to us. But let me just bring up my app here for a second. And I thought I had my app up. Here. Where is it? It is. I guess I can't share it for a second. Give me a second, but I want to show you that the flat Earth is growing super fast. There it is.
Well, it's amazing because your topic, and it's the funniest thing. Your topic is highly sought after on YouTube, but they always try to put a warning or some type of label on every video.
Yeah, they put right. So we got their attention at the Senate hearings about fake news. They brought up the example they used was flat Earth. Like, well, we're going to put a more authoritative, subject of tag on it. And so this is what they're doing. They're also shadow banning it. Like one of the biggest videos is called A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions, which basically answers your top 21 questions on flat Earth by ODD TV. Okay. And it's got millions of views, and you can search it by name and channel name, and it won't show up. You'll end up with Professor Dave as the top hit. Professor Dave is a paid shill that does just straw man and gaslighting arguments. But what I wanted to show you on the app, that little handshake button on the top of all those buttons, top middle, brings you to what I call the Flat Earth Friend Finder. These are all of the flat earthers that are near me that have my app.
It's just amazing, Dave. It's just amazing that like there's such a volume of people, but yet again, it's like almost like politics, but we just can't come together to, really.
What do you mean we can't come together? We're out there. We just had a conference in South Carolina, almost 500 people there.
Yeah, but Dave,
it was amazing.
I'm not. I like you. I love you. I keep trying to get you to come back because I love you. But you other than you and Matt, I've never. If it wasn't for you, I would have never known.
Well, I know that's the whole idea. They're distracting you. They've got this whole COVID thing. At the beginning, they want to flatten the curve. Who's that a little
deliberate? I'm trying to get there. Believe me, every time I talk to Dave kind of gets me to want to just fall down and say, fuck it. Everything I've been told is lie. So believe me.
Everything is lie. Tell me something that you've been told that is not a lie. Something big. Something big. Yeah. Right.
The water's blue? Ocean's blue?
I mean, is the ocean blue? You're just seeing light going through it. Sure. I mean... Yeah, that's about as deep as you can get. The moon, not what they tell us. Okay, the moon is very, very close, and that's provable, scientifically provably.
So
close.
You're saying it's in the firmament, but it's still. I mean, it's one of those things that we can see. It's physically there. You're not saying it's not.
Wait,
there.
Hold on. Is it physically there? You're saying it's physically there, right? How come when it goes to a new moon, which just doesn't have any sunlight on it? How come we can't see it? People say, well, it's near the sun and you're being blinded. What about during a total solar eclipse? During a total solar eclipse, the moon is blocking out the sun. The sun is lighting up the earth. So if you're on the moon, you'd see a full earth. Okay?
Okay.
The earth should shine back onto the moon and light it up so you can see it with your naked eye. Nobody has ever seen the sun. When it goes new, which means no light on it, I think it's almost 60 hours before anybody can see it. No one has ever seen it. They can't see it from the space station. They can't see it from an airplane, infrared. No one's ever seen it. So is the moon really there? What is the moon? Biggest mystery of all.
But, okay, so you at least admit there's something there. We just don't know what the hell it is.
I don't believe, again, right, exactly. You said it better than I'm about to say it. But I don't believe that the moon that we see is a physical object. There was a scientist back in the 1950s or just before the Apollo launches.
I agree with you, Ant, by the way.
Years.
You got comments coming in to me, trying to get me to, jump in with you, Dave. Head first.
Well, head first, like the Earth is flat. Listen to Dave.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Here's the problem. It's harder and harder to find shows that don't realize that something's wrong with the globe. Now, you don't have to understand flat Earth. Like, I don't understand how my freaking diesel engine in my car works, but I know that I press the button, I can drive down the road, and it gets me there. So I don't have to know how something works to prove that it exists, but I can also prove that my car does need fuel because I can drive until it runs out of fuel, and then I can fill it with fuel and it'll work again. So I can figure some stuff out scientifically, but you look at the moon, you can read by it. And in the middle of nowhere, you can read by the full moon. It's bright enough to cast shadows on the ground. But our full Earth shining back on the moon doesn't light it up enough for us to see it during a total solar eclipse. It's not there.
The only thing I keep coming back to, and it's probably a better thing because Matt is really into the Bible portion of this. And I know some of the people here in the audience are religious because they've already mentioned the Bible and Jesus and whatnot have you. But I look at the globe theory and religion and a lot of these other things. I mean, right now, until it's provable, it's all based on faith.
I hear you.
I mean, so whether it's a globe or a flat Earth, until we can prove it, until someone sets it free. I mean,
let's do it right now. I can prove to you it's not a globe. I can't prove to you how big it is. I can't prove to you what's above us. I can't prove to you what's beyond Antarctica. But I can prove to you that it's not a ball floating in space. First, how do you have a sphere holding water to it on all sides, surrounded by a Tor 17 vacuum, a near total 100% vacuum? How do you have that without sucking the air off? And you're going to say gravity, right?
Ozone, gravity, right?
Ozone. No. Ozone is just a word. Ozone is a gas that doesn't hold the air down. So what holds all of the air, all of the ozone? What's holding it to the Earth and not letting it equalize into the vacuum space? If you had a soda can and you crack it, it goes, psst. Yep. That's because the high pressure in there needs to equalize with the room. Lower the pressure in the room and, put a top on a bottle, lower the pressure in the room. Psst, it's going to do it again. Okay?
I understand what you're saying about testing distance for how far you see, but that testing distance, how far you see, is also perception because not everyone has the same depth perception. So seeing something,
I'm talking about.
No. He's just saying it's. So they're just trying to back you up and help out, and I'm like they're saying basically you can physically test distance through how far you can see. And that's something I believe is perspective because everyone's eyes are a little different, and and of course, depth perception is different.
Right. So here's the thing: if you on a physical ball, you can only see so far. How far can you see on a ball that's 24,901 miles around, like they tell us our Earth is? Well, a 6 foot tall person standing at the edge of calm water should be able to see a physical horizon. That's where the you can't see because the Earth is dropping below it, no farther than 3 miles away. No farther than 3 miles away. Okay. So if I'm standing at the edge of the water, 3 miles away, I should see a hard line, and then all of the surface of the water should be below that. Okay. That's ball math. Okay, that's globe math. Just like a pregnant woman, if she drew a line down her pregnant belly, as soon as she gets over her belly button, she can no longer see her finger because it's over the curve, right?
No, I totally understand what you're saying. I totally get that.
This is the hallway. If you walked around that corner, there's a physical horizon here. We'll flip it over to make it the Earth, right? So here's a physical horizon. So anything that goes beyond that will disappear from the bottom up. Bill Nye, the lying guy with the bow tie, wasn't lying when he said, on a ball, boats disappear from the bottom up. That's what he
Joe,
said.
Nice to have you in here.
That's what he said. Boats disappear from the bottom up. Well, that's not a lie, but they all disappear from the bottom up because of other reasons. Okay. And so, if you go to the water and you watch the sunset, that sun is setting behind a apparent horizon that is way farther than 3 miles away. But according to globe math, it should be 3 miles away. You should see the sun going down below that horizon 3 miles away, right? But we can see way farther than that all the time, right? Except, weather conditions can make that horizon appear closer, but even the clearest of clear days, super zoomist camera ever, it can't be farther than 3 miles away. But it is.
I know, and that's why you always blow my head. I almost feel like every time we have a conversation that I should be bashing my head against the wall. It's the amazing.
Look at this. Look at this. I got a little boat, a little thing. We'll call it a boat. There it is, right there. Okay. So when I zoom out, miraging, angular resolution, it disappears. But if I stacked a couple more on top of it, you'd be able to see them. And if I lift myself up higher, I can see beyond it. But when I bring it back down, it disappears. That's even without waves, atmospheric distortion, all sorts of stuff. This is just 10 feet, 20 feet, whatever it is. Okay? This is how it works. Stack a couple on top, I can see the top ones, but not the bottom ones, disappearing from the bottom up on a flat table.
So what is the flat Earth community doing? I know you said you just had a convention, but usually conventions are for, for your peers. It's for your colleagues.
Yeah,
it's not really to promote or push the agenda. I mean,
we got some press. And it's really for us connecting, because in this crazy world where they're separating the crap out of us, we had a ritual shame muzzle free week together. It was amazing. Excuse me. And we did a lot of networking and made new relationships. And now people are getting together. And we put a billboard up. I put a billboard up down there that was flat smack into town. And then we did activism through the town, where we go out and we give out cards and frisbees and all sorts of stuff, and we teach people about the flat Earth. Here are the cards, and then we literally go out grassroots, waking people up, and there's tons of people waking up. And the way we checked it was, before we got to Spartanburg, on my Flat Earth Friend Finder, there was only like 10 dots there. Then hundreds of people came in, dots everywhere. Then everybody left. But now there's still 40, 50 dots there. So those are 40 or 50 people that got the app and live in Spartanburg that are now looking at flat Earth stuff. So that's what we're doing. We're waking people up that way. And as we get more funds,
don't you really need to get like a scientist and some politicians on board? I mean,
we have there's lots of bigger and bigger people that are finally getting the courage to speak out. The politicians, anyone of any power, they know. Trump knows, right? There's people way up. They know. They're keeping this secret. We need like a celebrity with millions and millions and millions of followers on their Twitter account to tweet out something, and that'll change it overnight. We just need one big thing. We need one big show to have me on, right? Have me on and wake up a bunch of people and see what happens. But, this is something they don't want to happen, because if it happens, when you wake up to flat Earth, you no longer put up with any of the nonsense that's going on. You take back your God-given power and you stop believing the nonsense, and then you free yourself from their mind matrix.
So I guess, one of the things too I was trying to remember from our previous show was you were saying that flat Earth theory was actually taught in schools up until what, the 50s, the 40s or something like that?
Yeah, they started weeding it out in the 20s and 30s. I interviewed Ruth, 102 years old, back in February of 2020, and I was interviewing her about the World's Fairs that she went to, because that's when the reset happened, and was when we came out of the reset. And she told me that she was taught in public school in Connecticut that the Earth is they taught flat Earth in school. That's here in Connecticut, public schools, not a religious school, nothing crazy. And so we did some research, and we found newspaper articles from the New York Journal, which I believe is the New York Times, about teachers being persecuted for teaching heliocentrism, which is the ball model. Okay. So all of this happened. This is a changeover. You only need a couple generations to completely change everything, right? Now imagine, how will they stop this? Well, we're getting to the kids, so it might be too late to stop it, right? If you got rid of the adults and you just had kids, you can repopulate the earth, mix them up, bring them all over the earth, maybe put them on orphan trains. Huh, that's never been done before, or has it? Okay. And then you repopulate the earth and you reset the narrative. And so I was going before about the textbooks. The Rockefellers, who are at the head, at the top of this, they supply the textbooks at about, I would guess, 10% of what they actually cost to make. Therefore, nobody can make a competing textbook and sell it to the school even at cost. Okay? So they make it, why do the military buy $1 million bombs by the friggin' trainload, and schools have to sell baked goods to buy paper? Okay? It's designed so they can't afford to buy alternative sources of information. Now with the internet, though, you don't really need the books anymore. So I don't know how they're controlling that, but they have curriculums. They're totally destroying the schools with this.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the switch and why. Why all of a sudden, if it was already believed, it was already being taught, why the change? And that's something I just can't wrap my head around. Why all of a sudden? What was it profitable for? Because obviously most things wrap themselves around money. So this had to have something to do with money or a major secret, but I kind of think it's more about money than major secrets. Like, for instance, it's possibly a way for the government to funnel money into an organization that really doesn't need it to be used for other needs.
The government, the people that run this world, excuse me, don't need money. Money is a way to control us. They give us monopoly money, right? And it's just to control us. They give it to us and then they take it back, right? You make money and then they take taxes out and they take 40% of it. Then on tax day, if you're smart and you do your taxes right, you're smart, you get 5% of it back. You're like, yay, got $2,000 from the people that stole 40,000 from me, right? Okay, so that's just one thing. Then they're like, oh, we have to give money to NASA. We have to do this. It's all about control. They don't need money. The government, they need something. They just type into a computer and they have it. They just make up money. Money's fake. Okay. They control us with money. They control us with the lie of the globe, that we live in this globe spinning in space out of control. So we're weak. We don't know where we are. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we are. And you're confused. You lose your power. They put us in a mind matrix. So
I know, but again, it's just a fact of your grandparents, because you're older than I am. Your grandparents were taught the Earth was flat, and then somewhere in the 20s and 30s, everyone said, nope, it's not. But again, for me, it's the struggle of why. Why all of a sudden are we changing the information to control it? What's the end reason? And it can't be just because it's a global thing. It's not like a US thing. It's a global thing. And that's the one thing that every time we talk, I just can't, you throw out stuff that rattles my brain. I won't even lie. I mean, but again, it's just that one thing. I think it's probably the one stepping stone in my head.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because there was a great reset in the 1800s, late 1800s. And that's when we had all the orphan trains. That's when the population was severely dropped. That there was some sort of mud flood that buried much of the world. They were digging out much of the world. If you look at the pictures back then, it's crazy. So they let people go, but then things started getting more industrialist and people started rising up and getting more educated. And then it got to the point where we'd start challenging their slave system that we're in. And so they had to reset. They changed what was here let me back it up a little bit. There was an advanced worldwide civilization here. It appears. And some people call it Tataria. Okay.
And where is it located?
It was worldwide. The pyramids all over the world that are the same, and there's buildings that are harvesting energy, all sorts of stuff. In the app, if you hit the Tataria button, you'll learn all about it. It's a subject bigger than this, right? It's bigger than the lie about flat Earth, right? So then this reset happens, and the people that remained in power, they lied. They started lying about everything, and the lie just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger to control us. Now we're at a point where we're too many. They're not too many population-wise, because every family in the entire world could have a quarter acre in Texas. Okay, they don't want us getting together, so they're separating us. They don't want us learning the truth, so they're censoring us. Okay, they don't want us understanding who we are, right? Because once you understand that, you take your power back. You unplug from their mind matrix. You're now Neo at the end of the movie versus Neo at the beginning of the movie. Okay? The reason they're doing this is because they want to maintain and control. The people that run this world are not good people.
I know, but to keep control of that power among a few people without the information getting out for a century.
Yeah, well,
we're really talking
almost a century.
Yeah, almost a century now.
Yeah, but the information does get out. The problem is the internet, I think, got away from them a little bit. There was flat earthers. There's people that still believe the earth is flat. Old people they're like, yeah, I never believed that globe nonsense. But who are they going to talk to, right? So now we can use Facebook and Twitter and we have access to communications. Well, they're shutting that down. They're not letting people know. There's a lot of preaching to the choir, just like you said, right? A lot of people are preaching to the choir. This is why I'm going outside. I'm finding other shows. And big shows, little shows. I'll talk to anybody, because you start rolling it out this way. People, it is expanding, right? There's the number of flat earthers out there is growing so fast. There will be over 100 new blue dots on my app by the time I'm done with this interview. Okay, it's growing at a rate, and my app is probably only in the hands of maybe less than 1% of the people that know the Earth is flat. So it's way bigger, but they're censoring us, right? They don't want us to know. They don't want us to know what's going on. The elite that run this world do unspeakable, heinous things, right? You think Jeffrey Epstein was bad? He's a piker next to what's really going on in this world. And these are the people that are running in the world, are running our world. And most people have a hard time accepting that. So, like you.
Oh, it's not. Listen, it's not that.
No. It wasn't. I wasn't being.
Listen. Dave. I always try to have an educated, good casual conversation that stimulates, right? And sure. when you have something, I press you on it, and I don't mind being pressed back, and I appreciate it. It's not that I'm not open. It's just that I have a couple of, I would say, walls or things that I would have to, break through in order to 100% accept it. I'm not saying that the stuff that you provide.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I hear what you're saying. So you go to, I don't know, somewhere. You walk into a house, and it's going to be graphic. There's 10 dead bodies on the floor, blood all over the place. Okay, chopped to pieces, just unbelievable. You go, I don't see the motive. I don't see the motive, because the amount of information we have is worse than that scene. The amount of evidence that we have that the Earth is not a spinning ball flying through an infinite universe. Check this out. So I think I probably showed you this. So do you remember how fast the Earth is spinning?
No.
So the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. So when you watch the sunset, the sun's not going down. You're falling over backwards on a ball faster than the speed of sound. That's what makes the sunset. You're on a ball. Here's the sun. The ball's turning over, and the sun looks like it's setting because you're falling over backwards. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? While that's going on, you're orbiting in an elliptical, speeding up and slowing down path around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. You know how fast that is? Let me share my screen for a second. So this is called the hypersonic test track. Can you see this? See it?
I see that.
So this is going to go by at Mach 8.6. Ready? Watch it again. Mach 8.6. All right. You have to believe. Ready? You have to believe. Where did my window go? Lost you. You have to. All right. So we're orbiting at 66,600 miles per hour. Right? That's 10 times faster than that. Okay? 10 times faster.
I never saw that video. That's amazing.
We're also chasing the sun in a third direction at almost 100 times faster than that. Again, orbiting, spinning, twirling, corkscrewing at these speeds that you can't even fathom. I can only show you Mach 8.6 because you can't see it. Any faster, it's like, I can't see it. We're orbiting 10 times faster than that. We're chasing it 100 times faster than that. And what does nature tell you? Does nature lie? Does nature lie?
You still on the small screen, Dave?
Oh, why am I on the small screen? I don't know what happened there.
It's okay.
It is I'm still screen sharing. There you go. So does nature lie?
Well, I mean, I don't think nature lies, but when you look at stuff in the water, it does skewer the perception a little bit.
What does this lake tell you? That you're going 10 times that speed and 100 times that speed in two different directions, corkscrewing through space? Or does this tell you that what you're looking at is perfectly still?
Listen, Dave, this is some of the things that made me think the last time. I mean, I agree. I'm not saying that. It's like, something would be different. I totally agree with you. It's just amazing. And I keep going back to those couple of things, and I think those are the only stepping stones that I've ever had with the whole theory. Was, it was in schools, it got pulled out. Why? And the funny thing is yes, 1920s and 30s was a long time, but not in the relevance of time. I mean, we're only talking less than a century, which is one person's lifespan.
Yeah,
and that information's been lost in one person's lifespan.
Right. So the people that are alive now that know this are over 100 years old. They're all centenarians. Okay. So in February 2020, I found Ruth, and she told me the Earth was flat before I ever mentioned flat Earth to her. Right. And she was so thrilled, and it literally, you got to watch the video. You'll get if you haven't seen it, it's on my channel. You'll get a link in an email after this. So I went on shows, and everybody, it went viral. People cried. People were like, oh my God, I'm going to go do the same thing. I'm going to go to old age homes, find lucid people and interview them. And everyone was gearing up to do this. And then bam, COVID hit, and nobody can go to nursing homes.
We gotta figure something out, Dave. We gotta get you out there somewhere. I've always never mind. I didn't have a problem challenging ideals, and challenging theories. That's why they're there. They're theories. I mean, they're supposed to be challenged. The problem, though, is a lot of theories end up in books. Unproven theories end up in books. But that's the whole thing: is how did something that, I mean, that is, I promise you, Dave, if I could wrap my head around that, I'd probably be on board 100% guaranteed. Because that's the only thing I think that's really ever stopped me.
So instead of wrapping your head around why the lie, as I was talking about with the bloody bodies in the room, tell me one reason why you think the Earth is a globe. Forget the motive, forget the who. Tell me one reason you think the Earth is a globe. Spoiler alert, you don't have one.
I don't have one other than the
why do you think the Earth is a globe? Why are you saying all the evidence I see, we can see too far, the nature doesn't lie, these speeds are ridiculous, you can't have high pressure next to no pressure without a container, all of science, all physics prove to you that the Earth is not a spinning ball in space, but you say, I'm not on board yet. I think, well, ask yourself why.
I have been. And for me, it comes down to, like I said, mostly For me, I've always looked at things that are done in life, and especially, things like this. It's human nature. There's a reason why it's done, right?
Forget the why.
I know.
There is a reason.
There is a reason.
Ask yourself, why do you think the Earth is a globe?
Well, again, you pointed out physics, but then, you
Give me a reason.
if you say physics proves the Earth is flat, but then
No, I never said that. I said physics proves we're not a spinning globe in space.
okay, I will definitely rescind that. I apologize, but
All right.
you're right. There should be no reason other than the fact I guess it's an emotional thing of not wanting to feel like I'm an idiot.
100%. You don't want to have your ball taken away. You don't want to admit that you've been lied to your whole life. This is normal. This is a normal thing. Suck it up. Put on your big boy pants. Let go of your pride. Go, the evidence is showing me we don't live on a globe. Now deal with it. Okay? And then life gets better. Life is amazing. The people that you surround yourself with are amazing. People are going on the app because, I've been so alone. I have no one to talk to. I'm the only one that thinks. And they're like, oh my God, there's 4 people in my town. Click, 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 click. They send them a message. Hey, meet at the coffee shop, flat Earth. And then boom, all 4 people show up. New best friends forever. It's happening everywhere. Okay. The app is bringing people together. 1 person can be brave. 2 people together can be crazy brave, right? You do more when you have support, right? Like you go out and try to talk to people about flat Earth in a big crowd. Yeah, it's kind of, I'm all alone. But then you have like me with you and Matt's with you, and you'll be talking big. You'll be like, yeah, man, space program's fake, right? So getting people together, they want to divide us. They divide us by countries, fake. They divide us by states and religions and races and politics, sports teams, jabbed, unjabbed, right? They're dividing. Stay away, stay home, work online, go into the metaverse. Have you seen the metaverse? Okay.
Right.
They want us living in a cartoon world. They're trying to turn us, literally, they're plugging us into the matrix.
That's where your
slowly.
monopoly money is going to come into play in that metaverse. People are going to stop buying shit that ain't even real, and have digital currency and digital jobs. I guarantee it.
Oh, it's already happening.
But
And
I know what you're
people-
saying. I know what you're saying. Suck it up, and I totally get that. And like I said, if it wasn't for you and Matt, I mean, the only 2. So I guess for the people who are going to watch this and listen to this, because this goes up on YouTube and some other video platforms, and obviously I put it on all podcasting platforms. I mean, yes, your app is in the description, and I want people to get it. I got it. I've looked at it, and I've glanced over it from time to time, even from the time I spoke today. But I guess the thing is there's no real, structure to flat earthers. There's no main organization. There's no one really pushing.
See that you're a person that needs government. I don't need government.
I'm not saying government. I'm not saying
I'm
government.
with you. No, I'm saying you need. Well, here's the thing: there isn't one, then make one. I'm doing it. I'm doing hundreds and hundreds of interviews. Hundreds. I'm doing probably 100 interviews a month now, at least. Okay, so I'm doing it. Other people are being inspired by what I'm doing. We have people out in the street, teams of people going to sports games, to college campuses, talking to kids, handing out information, even buying them the app, paying them $5 to watch a video right there and comment on it. They're doing everything. So there is all sorts of stuff. And as this gets bigger and as we get more funding, it's going to get bigger. You're going to see, in the near future, you're going to see hundreds of billboards on major highways talking about this. Okay. When that happens, they're in big trouble, right? So the question is, are they going to let it happen? Are they going to do something? Is there going to be a huge false flag? Are they going to shut the power off? Who knows? But I'm going to keep going until I can't go anymore.
Well, I've always said it, Dave. I've always loved talking to you. You always bring solid facts to the table. It's not like and I think that's the problem is most people, I've had the pleasure of talking to them. Most people, when they think of flat earthers, they think crazy people, right? I mean, they don't believe, and there's nothing to support it. And I think that's the reason why I kept saying, I hit something.
Still here.
Yeah. Anyway, so, I guess there just needs to be some way to get the message. I mean, you're doing it. I mean, are you going to start an organization yourself other than the app to
we have FE Core, that do scientific experiments. They're a 501c3. We have this. We have the conferences. We have teams of people doing outreach. It's people that go to flea markets, have booths up all the time. Yeah, we need to get bigger. We need more people. We need to get into universities. But you know what? One person can do it. I might be that person. Maybe Eric Dubay will be that person. Maybe ODD Reality will be the person. I don't care who the person is. Somebody needs to get the attention of some show. I just went on a show the other day at 270,000 subs, right? And I'm getting swamped with messages of people like, holy crap, I thought it was going to be a comedy show, and now I'm a flat earther. So I just woke up a ton of people there, and maybe I'll get on another. It was a muscle head channel. I don't remember the name of the channel, RX Muscle or something like that. Okay, but that happens. All you need is one big channel to get me on, right? I was on CNN. I've been on InfoWars. Okay, but we need bigger. We need more, and it's gonna come. I feel it. It's here. It's gonna happen like that overnight. It's going to go viral. And when that happens, people are going to have to put on their big boy pants and deal with some major emotional ego trauma, because your ego is going to be slammed to the floor, stepped on, and you're going to go, how was I ever so dumb? How was I ever so dumb to believe in the globe? I offer 100 Bitcoins to anybody who can come up with anything dumber than the heliocentric model.
That's a bold statement, Dave.
There's nothing dumber than the heliocentric model. There's nothing.
I'm just saying it's a bold statement. That's one of the things I love about you when I talk to you, man, is you're not afraid to back up what you're saying.
Look at this. If you were in this circle here is the equator. So everything inside of that is the north. Okay?
Yep.
So are there any two airports anywhere in the north that you can fly from one to the other that you'd have to cross this circle, right? It's the top half of the globe.
Yep.
No, you would never cross it. And then the bottom half of the globe, same thing. Any 2 points would never cross the equator. But to go from here to here, they cross the equator. They go all the way up to, what does it say? Doha?
Yeah, I guess. Doha. Yep.
I think it's Doha. So, but on a flat Earth, it's a straight line. That's why they go there. That's why it crosses the equator. Never, ever are there two locations. Like if you got the longitude and latitude and found two places in the north at equal longitude and latitudes, never, ever do they cut into the south and go back up. Why don't they do that? Because this is how the Earth is set up. Only southern flights.
You said that the last time, and it's like that makes the conspiracy so much bigger, because pilots, whether they're military pilots, civilian pilots, or corporate pilots, I mean, that's something that's like, again, it just makes the conspiracy so much bigger. It's
not. Most pilots, when you get in a plane, they take off the plane, they fly up, they're told that the Earth is so big that they can't see the curve. Then the air traffic controller goes, change the 769-4, and they turn the dial, and then they hit the button, and then they read a book, and they play cards. And then a little while later, the control tower goes, turn your knob to 850, descend to, this altitude. And they say, okay, altitude, that button, press, and they go back to their card game. They read their book. And then when they land, the pilot lands the plane. Okay, probably with some assistance. So that there's nothing going on there. However, with that said, we've talked to plenty of pilots. They know, but they don't want to lose their jobs. We interviewed a KLM pilot, and she was grounded the next day. Okay, the Qantas pilots that do the southern flights, they all know, and they talk about it within their lounge, but they don't talk about it publicly because they don't want to lose their job. Anyone that brings it up is grounded. So you worked all your life. You have this fairly cushy job. You like it, and you're going to go, oh, the Earth is flat. Okay, you're fired.
That's why I say it's just amazing that it's been held for so. I guess that's where it really. I mean, because
it's out there. Here's the thing: in the app, if you hit the question mark, and then you go, "What about pilots and scientists?" You hit that. Up comes a playlist. This one right here, the third one down. This is a Dutch lifelong pilot, retired, who's speaking out about it now. She's speaking out about it in detail on how the Earth is flat. There's tons of stuff. Pilots that admit it's flat, but they're not brave. They just want to have their life. They want to drink their beers. They want their sports teams. They want to have their routes. They want to go home. They want to have their car and their home. And they're just living what they're told is the American dream, or the capitalist dream. So it's not that big of a thing. People have Stockholm syndrome. They're stuck in their belief system, and they're not doing anything. They're stuck in movie land, right? Television is mind control. I was told that as a child, and I just didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. No, it's not. It's entertainment. Well, entertain the mind, right? That's literally containing your mind with entertainment, right? You watch Netflix, it's programming you. It's, all the alien movies, it's all to take your mind into outer space, because that's the only thing that's ever gone to outer space.
It's funny because I've always liked science fiction movies because of the fact it's supposed to expand your mind, because it's just like unfathomable things. And I think that's one of the reasons why when I talk to you, it's not that I don't want to believe. It's because you bring facts to the table. I think it's, like I said, it's more of an emotional thing at this point than it is.
It is. You don't want to listen, to understand the Earth is flat, you got to give up Star Trek, Star Wars, all of the space movies. They're all gone.
No,
right?
I mean, you don't have to give them up. I mean, it's great to dream. It's great to fantasize.
I still like them, but they're not the same. They're not the same when you believe that it's actually something that could be done, or otherwise you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's like me being a veteran and watching a war movie going, oh, that shit's fucking fake. I mean, I do that. I mean, it doesn't mean I won't enjoy it.
No, that's something that you have personal experience on. Nobody has personal experience of space, planets, aliens. But they show us this stuff, and your brain goes, yeah, maybe that could be true. That is a possibility. But when you're a flat earther, you watch it, you go, yeah, this is bullshit. Yeah, that actually looks better than what NASA shows us. And you watch it for a whole different reason. I love watching, the some of the movies, like the new James Bond that's out, is telling us what's going on in the world right now with the jibby jab. Okay?
I never watched that one yet.
I haven't either. I heard about
it. The funniest thing was Daniel Craig, when he first took that role. I was very skeptical because he was not the traditional James Bond type figure, right? He wasn't overly handsome. He wasn't refined. I mean, and I got to admit, I really fell in love with the character. I just felt like the ending. This is the ending, and I just didn't like the way they were ending it. He's out, and now they're changing his to a female and everything else under the sun. James Bond has always been James Bond. Leave James Bond alone. Create something new, because James Bond is an icon for generations. I mean, it's been there forever. And I think that's the only thing about it. I was like disappointed, so I didn't want to see it and be more disappointed in that fact. But it's I know where you're coming from, and I know it's an emotional thing I need to get over, and I fully get it. And it's just something that I just need to do, because.
So here's what you haven't been doing, because you haven't been looking at your app. First, update your app, right? Then just every morning while you're having your breakfast, watch the daily video. There's one video a day. I do short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekend. Tomorrow is a really good one. It's really short, but it's a really good one. All right. And it's about, what is it about? It's about, is Flat Earth a cult? Okay. Is Flat Earth a cult? It's really good because it flips the freaking table on you. It's going to flip it. It's awesome. By an awesome guy. Check it out.
Dave, when I first
8:01 a.m.
When I first talked to you, my friend, I was really skeptical. I got to be honest. I was like, well, and I told my wife. She goes, "What do you think?" I said, I don't know where this is going to go. I just don't know. I said, he could be a crazy guy. I just don't know. And then I'm done. No, we did our show, and even people saw my reaction, like, oh, damn, like David's actually proving points here. And it's like, damn. It's like, damn. Oh. So I'll update the app. I've been busy. Unfortunately, I've been busy, but I'll update the app. So I think the next step for you, though, is you guys got to really come together. I mean, you guys really need to organize and really come together on this. I mean, if you're showing me that app and you got that many people near you, I mean, everybody knows somebody.
And that's what's going on right now. Everyone that's listening, everyone that has the app, find one person this week. One person, and show them, buy them the app, right? Get them to watch the daily video and turn them into a flat earther. Because once you go flat, you don't go back. Thanks, Joe Mama in the chat. Okay. And once that happens, well, now we just doubled, right? Next week.
Viking. James Bond's going to be the chick
16,
now.
right? If everyone did that, if everyone that had the app that's on the friend finder just woke up one person a week for the next 3 months, by the end of the year, it's over. It's over.
I don't think it's about bringing more people on. I think because honestly,
no, it's mass. Once you get the masses away,
it's not that. I think you need to be on. Matt needs to be on. You guys present very, very well.
When you wake somebody up, they're like, okay, I got a show. I'm on this. I know the person that'll have you on. There's shows out there that would love to have me on. I just don't know them. We're trying to find them. So if you know a show that's not a Flat Earth show that has a decent size audience, reach out to me. Go to flatearthdave.com and there's a booking link right there. Flatearthdave.com, flatearthdave.com. Links to the app, links to my podcast with Matt. Some other links.
You should probably point out our previous episode. Our previous episode was really well, and everyone loved the hell out of it with you going through it in a very basic way of you teaching me about flat Earth, because I had no idea. And that was a hell of a show, because I got to tell you, you have a lot of people that follow you, a lot of people that love you. You know, you and Matt have a hell of a following. And that's why I keep saying, you guys got to do your podcast together again. You guys got to really be, I'm not saying put in the forefront and leading the charge, but in all honesty, someone who can present well and speak well.
Here's the thing. Matt and I just did another podcast. Life has gone a little crazy, but here's the thing. The people that subscribe to the Flat Earth podcast, I don't care about them. They're all flat earthers. Okay. I love them, but I don't care about them. Right.
He doesn't mean that, guys. They're all in the chat. They'll listen to you live.
I mean it. I don't care. I'm not doing it for you. Right. You're already there. So what I want to do is go on other shows that aren't flat earthers. Like I went on Owen Benjamin. Owen Benjamin had a massive audience. None of them were flat earthers, and neither was he. Now they're all flat earthers. Okay. And now they're waking up other people. We are going. This is the story of the hush puppies back in the 70s, whatever it was. They just started going and going, and then all of a sudden it tipped. We are this close to the tipping point, okay? And once it tips, this shit's going to get crazy, Don. Crazy, all right? So I'm trying to get on other shows, and here's what the people are like, oh, how can I help? Here's what other flat earthers can do. Find other shows. Surf, find shows. Don't care what kind of show it is. If they're having discussions, like, dude, you got to have this Dave guy on, and then give them my booking link, flatearthdave.com, book Dave now, bam. And then it'll send me an email. It'll ask for a couple questions, and then they'll get a booking link. Really easy. Send me an email. Do it. Flatearthdave.com.
So Brandon says that flat Earth is a joke. So Brandon, while we have Dave here, why don't you ask him a question? Because I've done this, and he kind of throws stuff out there and he backs it up. So
are my trolls arriving? Because I didn't announce this.
You didn't announce this.
I announced it just as we went on, and I didn't say anything about it. But
it's too bad, because you would have had a room full of people.
I don't want them overwhelming your people. They're all going to see this later. Trust me. So here's the thing. Brandon or anyone else that says flat Earth is a psyop, flat Earth is a joke, Dave is a scammer, I say, is that your best globe proof? Give me a globe proof, win your 3 Bitcoins. I'm offering 3 Bitcoins, and you know it. 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. 1 proof of the globe. And I'll give you a spoiler. You don't have any. You don't have any. Nobody has any, because the globe ain't real.
So I guess what we need to do is I know I was fortunate enough to meet you, have that great conversation that first show, and you twisted my head around then. I mean, really, that's why I think tonight's conversation, we started off with the rockets, and then we went back into some points that I brought up, because these are the things that I have been thinking about ever since I've talked to you. And I just one of those people who like to understand stuff. So that's why you said, forget about the why. Well, unfortunately, sometimes I get stuck on a why. But for someone who's watching this, outside of buying your app, which is absolutely cheap, everyone who's interested should be able to buy the app. It's less than a cup of coffee, for God's sakes, a Starbucks coffee. Go do it, and take a look at it. But if they're not gonna buy the app, where would you direct them to go to start their research?
FlatEarthDave.com. There's playlists there, or the Flat Earth Clock app YouTube page. There's if you watched 1% of the videos on that page, you'd become a flat earther and lose your friends and family too.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do, because we obviously ran over, I don't want to keep you forever. So what we're going to do is I want to thank everybody who showed up tonight. Thank you so much. All of David's, followers, by all means, thank you so much. If you like what I've done with Dave before and in the past, I'm hoping that you'll at least subscribe and take a look at some of my other interviews that I do. They're all over the place on different things. And of course, obviously, Dave, I follow you because of the fact that I bought the app and I talk to you, and I always like to have you on. So I appreciate your time. And again, anybody who's listening on the podcast or watching the live replay or watching after I upload it, take a look in the description, find Dave, reach out to Dave, because Dave will talk to you. Dave's the type of guy that if you want information, he will talk to you.
FlatEarthDave.com. Hit the booking link there if you have a show with any size audience.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to end this. I thank everyone again. Stick around for a moment, but again, thank you so much, Dave. We're gonna have to do this again. I think I'm right about there. I got some emotional baggage. I gotta.
You have to start watching the daily videos, because next time I come on, I'm going to quiz you on some of the previous videos.
All right? So hold on.
You have to do your homework. Belief is the enemy of knowing. It's easy to believe the Earth is a ball because you just believe it, and know that it's not a ball. You got to use your God-given senses.
All right. Well, we're going to say goodbye to the audience, but thank you so much, guys. And I look forward